Hello, this is Julius from Basic Financials. Today I'm going to do a video just to bring some things together into one place really. So some of these things I will have already talked about in other videos, but I know that it can be a bit difficult to, unless you watch every single video, sometimes it's not easy to isolate the things that are essential. Now, I'm thinking mainly if you're like a married couple, say in a civil partnership possibly, or married, is trying to be efficient tax-wise with the income that you both get. Now, I know not all couples are the same, but I'm basically treating it that you're in what you believe is a stable relationship, and that you're going forward thinking what's mine is theirs, and you're not thinking, oh, this is mine and that's theirs. You're trying to share everything, which personally I think is probably the way to go if you're in a unit together. Right, now, first thing, you've got a personal allowance, and you each have a personal allowance. At the moment, so for the year 2019 to 20, i.e. tax year to the 5th of April 2020, that personal allowance is $12,500. And as I say, you each get it. And if you don't use it, then you lose it. And after that $12,500, you've then got a basic rate tax band where you pay tax at 20%, and that is $37,500. So this is where you might hear that you only start paying tax at the higher rate of 40% when your income is over 50,000, because that's the 12,500 0%, which is your personal allowance, and then 37,500 at your basic rate. And again, if you don't use your basic rate in a tax year, you can't carry it forward. You've lost it. So hopefully you're starting to see that ideally you would both be earning at least the personal allowance, so that you're earning your part that you can earn without paying any tax, and also if you've got high incomes, you're both earning at the basic rate. What you really don't want to happen, let's say your incomes aren't that big, say you're a married couple, say one person's decided to stay at home and look after the children, and finding it difficult to go out to work, maybe got lots of children, and so then basically you don't really want one person earning £25,000 and the other person earning nothing. What you'd really like to have is both people earning £12,500, because you'd be paying no tax, whereas if you do it the other way, you'd be paying tax at 20% on 12,500. And the same thing happens when you've got, if you're getting more income. So say one person got 100,000 and somebody else has got nothing, or maybe even they have got a part-time job, maybe they're earning 12,500. That still means that one person's paying tax at 40% because they've gone over the 50,000, and one person is paying at nothing percent. So the ideal would be to try and share your income in some way. Now, obviously, it's not always possible. One way of doing it might be to for not have one person working full time and one person staying at home. You might share your time out. I know this is obviously easier said than done. Where it does become possible is if you have your own business. If you're self-employed, instead of being self-employed, you might decide to be in a partnership. Because after all, even if you're doing, one person is doing the main work of the partnership, you are a partnership. You're married. You're in partnership together in other things and other respects. So really, and when you think about all the things that the partner who isn't doing that main work, they probably do loads of other things as well to help you, as if they were within your business. So really, it's fine to be a partner, and that way you can share your income out a bit more tax efficiently. Or if you have a company, if you own your own company, you can both be directors, both be shareholders, and then you can start to split your income between dividends. I have done some videos on that, but as I say, I'm trying to bring things together. So that's the thing, to try and use your personal allowances, use your basic rate bands, if you can. It's not always possible, but if you can. Now, that ties in with other things as well. For example, I've done a video about the higher rate child benefit charge, where if one of you is earning more than 50,000, you start to pay back child benefits. You've got children, so you've got 3 children, you'll be getting maybe a couple of £1,000 worth of child benefit. And if one person earns 60,000 and the other nothing, then you pay all of that back, because you pay all of it back by the time you've got to 60,000. You start at 50,000 and you've paid it all back by the time you get to 60,000 in that 10,000 gap. So you'd be far better off having each person earning 30,000, or one earning 50 and the other 10. So that's another time when it will kick in to try and split income. So there are lots of things like that. There is one thing, the government does recognise this. They helped a tiny bit, not very much. This was a marriage allowance. And I think I've done another video on the marriage allowance, where if one of you isn't using all of your personal allowance, it can transfer to the other partner, so long as the other partner isn't earning more than 50,000, isn't paying tax at the higher rate, basically. So if one partner is not earned under the 50,000 and the other person's under the 12,500, you can transfer 10% of your personal allowance to the other partner. So that helps a little bit, but not a massive amount. It's 20% of 1,250, basically. It all helps, but could be better ways of doing it. Right, the other thing is savings allowance. If you're not a higher rate taxpayer, you get £1,000 a year savings allowance, which means that you don't pay interest on the first £1,000 you don't pay tax rather on the first £1,000 of interest. If you're a higher rate taxpayer, that goes down to 500. But again, you don't really want to have one person with all savings. Say you've got quite a bit of savings in there and you're earning £2,000 of interest. You may well be paying tax on that. Whereas if you've got the other partner with no savings, they're wasting their £1,000 savings allowance. So equalise out your savings so that you can make the best use of that savings allowance. There's also something called the dividend allowance. You get £2,000 a year dividend allowance each. So again, same thing with savings. If you've got dividends being received, because you've either got your own company with dividends, that's slightly different, but maybe you've got some investments. This is things outside of ISAs, which are tax exempt. So the interest and dividends from savings in ISAs aren't taxable. But in dividends on other savings and other shares, they would be taxable. So try and make sure you use each use your dividend allowance, or at least not have one of you paying tax on dividends and the other one not. You could transfer shares to your partner so that so you can make use of it. Another thing is capital gains. This is quite an important one. Let's say you do have an investment property. You're getting income, rental income. You don't really want to be having one person paying tax at 40% on that rental income, and the other person, if they're not using all their basic rate band, not having any of it. So what you could do is have joint ownership, and it will be split 50-50, or you can actually do joint ownership but actually allocate a percentage to one partner and a percentage to the other partner to make best use of the income. So you could have rental profits split. Capital gains, if you sell that property, you get about £12,000 annual capital gains tax allowance. Again, if you don't use it, you'll lose it. So you don't want to sell and have a big gain on one partner when you could have had both of you owning it, both of you making a gain, and both of you using your 12,000 capital gains tax allowance. So that's another thing that you could do. So there's a whole bunch of things that that you can do tax efficiently by just making sure you share things financially and using your allowances. That's a help. I'm just going to check the notes a minute. Yeah, I think that's probably okay for now. So that brings a few things together. I have got some other videos which describe some of those things in more detail. But hopefully that helps to bring it all into one place. Like and subscribe, please. If you got any comments in the box below or any questions, I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can with them. Yeah, thanks for listening. I'll see you again soon.